Well, hello, Monster Truck fans, and welcome to another episode of TMB TV. It's all new, and we're coming to you here from Springdale, Arkansas, and we've got a special format for this episode. We just came from the Monster Truck Challenge in Charlotte, North Carolina, one of the biggest tracks ever constructed in monster trucks. Next episode, we're going to be out in Indianapolis, Indiana, one of the most classic places for monster trucks. Two absolutely gigantic shows, and it's going to be a great time. But in between those, we wanted to put a little bit of focus onto what is really the majority of monster truck shows during the summer and fall months, and that's the smaller shows, the shows you find at rodeo arenas, at speedways, at little fairgrounds all around the United States of America. And we've got two great ones coming up for you in this episode. And we've got two promoters that you've never seen here on TMB TV before that we're going to be highlighting in this episode. And that's Danny Torgerson's Monster X Tour and Steve Queershow's Outlaw Monster Truck Spectacular. And with these two shows, there is no lack of stars in this. We've got Dan Runte with the Summit Bigfoot. We've got, for the first time this year on TMB TV, Scott Hartsock with the Gunslinger, and Don King, who's been tearing it up this year in Barefoot, driving the General. And that's all coming up tonight here in Springdale. And next week, we're going to be still on the road out in Lawton, Oklahoma, where we're going to have the Sturges Motorsports team. Always a treat to have Unnamed and Untamed and Nasty Boy in an episode. And in addition to that, we're going to have Bounty Hunter and Iron Outlaw. So we've got the stars in this episode, but we're going to be highlighting smaller shows, smaller promoters you don't usually get to see. We got two rodeo arenas we're going to be bringing you these shows from, and it's going to be a blast. Lots of good action, and hey, as a bonus here tonight in Springdale, we're going to be highlighting some big-time sand drag truck racing. It's going to be a blast. Hey, we've got some big stars to talk to you. Scott Hartsock. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's coming all up on TMB TV right now. Well, fans, one of the reasons we just had to do a TMB TV episode here from our Springdale and Lawton 2 weeks on the road is because we got Scott Hartsock with the Gunslinger here in Springdale, and we don't get a chance to see it too often. Scott, it's really good to have you on the Monster Blog again.
Hey, we appreciate being on the Monster Blog. You know, you guys know monster trucks, and we know how to drive them, so we're looking for a great night tonight. You know, we're not used to these small venues like we're in tonight, but I sure am glad to be here. It's a down-home atmosphere. We got a bunch of good up-close personal friends, fans, and competitors. So, you know what? I'm going to give these people what they see every weekend when they watch Speed TV, and that's high-flying monster truck car-crushing action from who? Me. Cocked, locked, and ready to rock.
And that's exactly what we want here on TMB TV. And you're a great interview, Scott. That's one of the reasons we had to talk to you. Now, go ahead and tell us about your year so far. Monster Jam, you ran the full season for the first 3 months. You had some real great performances. Just kind of give us a recap of how it went for you this year.
Man, I tell you what, it's been awesome. When you talk about a recap of what we did the first quarter, well, we started right off the bat, Atlanta, Georgia, the Georgia Dome. I think I was number 2 qualifier. Ended up being in the finals with Dennis Anderson and the legendary Gravedigger, of course. Cards were stacked against me, but it didn't matter. I came out shooting. Took them all the way. Shucks, we had to do an extra lap, as you see nowadays on Speed TV, what we're doing with Monster Jam. It was neck and neck. I got got kind of caught up because you don't know where you're at in a race, and then you have an extra lap. I think we've had some other drivers do the same thing. Well, needless to say, I came up on the short end of the stick, but I did make it to the finals. And we carried that momentum on, you know. We left there. We had to go do a little deal in Charlotte at the Bobcat Arena. I won 3 nights in a row racing, and yes, I took out Gary Porter in his hometown. You know, with which was Carolina Crusher. Now he's a Gravedigger driver. Have a lot of respect for him. He has taught me a lot. Get into my hometown, Tampa, Florida. I tell you what, I have been there 18 years. Well, I won it last year. This year, 2009, against Dennis Anderson in the extra lap. I played games with my own head, saying, you know what, I got to keep it smooth and consistent, and that's what I did. I took him to school. I felt good about it. Won that deal, thank all my fans that have supported me forever, you know, in Florida.
You're talking about first quarter racing Gravedigger, Dennis Anderson. Now we get here tonight, small arena, and you're racing a guy you don't get to see very often at all. You got Dan Runte and the best Bigfoot truck they've got in their stable. What do you think about tonight racing?
Man, as soon as you said that, man, I got goosebumps, you know, because you're right, I don't get to race with Dan much. We raced in Bloomsburg during the summer. It was absolutely awesome. Those guys are top-notch, that whole Bigfoot camp. Dan Runte, he's the Dennis Anderson of the Bigfoot camp. Love him to death, respect him. We pull up over there, yeah, we got respect, but that's coming out. And I'm going to put the big bullet right inside of Bigfoot, you know, and hopefully, as long as we get a good hole shot, he's got some big old hook and cleats on there. I run these old skinny ball tires because we like to slide around a little bit. Maybe I can pull it off. If not, we're here for a good time, not a long time.
Well, that's Scott Hartsock with the Gunslinger, and like he always says, he is cock-locked and ready to rock here in Springdale tonight. It's going to be racing freestyle, and him and Bigfoot are going to be going at it tonight, but don't count out the next man we'll be talking to here just in a second. Well, folks, we just talked to Scott Hartsock with the Gunslinger. We've also got Dan Runte with Summit Bigfoot, but we've also got here in this lineup one of the most successful drivers in 2009, Don King, Don's Monsters. Now, Don, I got to start out. We saw you just a couple weeks ago up in Columbia, Missouri, Boone County Fairgrounds show you guys put on, and you put on one heck of a performance in barefoot, a wheelie clinic, if you might say. Tell us about that wild run you put on in freestyle and that wheelie contest.
Yeah, you know, I just don't know what happened. The old truck was running good that night, and I just wanted to stand up and look good for the crowd, and I just thank God I was in it while I was doing it. So, yeah, we have a lot of good things going on this year. My barefoot truck's been running really hard. We've been in some good competition. This is my newest truck, the General. We've got some new things coming up with it. In the next season, you're going to be able to see it step up to the quality of barefoot and see some exciting things coming up here.
Now, talking about that, is that some of the reason we'll be seeing you here tonight? I mean, you've got a great chance here to really put the General name on the map tonight, taking on Bigfoot and Gunslinger. And here in a second, we'll talk a little bit more about your season, but just give us a little bit about what to expect from you tonight.
I tell you what, this truck here, actually, I built it myself, and I've only run it probably 5 or 6 times in the last 2 years that it's been out here. So I'm pretty new in the truck, and me and the truck just kind of have to get together, and we're going to be running it more and more next year, so I'm just kind of getting a feel of it tonight. Hopefully I put on a good show for you.
Now, we've been tracking stats all year long this year on themonsterblog.com through 2009, and you've been one of the most successful drivers in the events that you've competed in. 20 racing wins so far this year, 24 freestyle wins, and you've got one of the best overall winning percentages in monster trucks at 59%. Just tell us what it's like to have had such a great year this year driving barefoot.
Well, I tell you, I appreciate it. You know, you kind of give me more credit than that. The truck is really something. It's really been hanging good this year and handling real well. And it's great to be on top. It always is, and I hope I can stay there.
Well, that's Don King. He's driving the General here tonight. Everybody knows him from barefoot. You saw some great performances from him in our last coverage from Columbia, Missouri. And we've got tons of great stuff coming up here tonight in Springdale. Now we're going to go talk to Danny Torgerson here with the Monster X Tour and talk a little bit about some of the side action you'll be seeing right here in this episode of TMB TV from Springdale.